14th May 1986. This date marks the beginning of one of the biggest mysteries in Singapore, which remains unsolved till today. 12:55 p.m. in Owen Primary School. Students gather for their afternoon lessons. The teacher does a roll call, but two names are left hanging in the air, unanswered. Those names are Kay Chin An and To Hong Kwat. The two are very close friends and well-behaved children who never skipped classes. So where did they go? The pair had apparently left their bags in school and went to a nearby shop to buy some sweets. Chin An was last seen by a classmate, Wang Pi Wei. Hong Huat, who was usually a timid boy, had requested to go to school on his own that day and was last seen by his mother. In class, the teacher notices both Chin An and Hong Huat's absence and calls for their parents. Kay Ching Pan, Chin An's father, shows up at school with his wife, Tay Mi Na. Tan Gyok Kwan, Hong Huat's mother, joins them shortly after. The boys' parents are immensely concerned, and their anxiety only grows as they search the school grounds and the surrounding Owen housing estate. Their children do not turn up, and by evening, they call the police. Police investigations reveal little new information. The boys had seemingly vanished into thin air in broad daylight. The search goes on for weeks. There are many sleepless nights for the families. Both Hong Huat and Chin An's mothers say that neither of the boys had asked for extra money, and there had been no indication that they would be missing for this long. Hong Huat is Tan Gyok Kwan's only son. She told the newspapers, Hong Huat's money in his two piggy banks was untouched. He even asked me to prepare pork chops and potato chips for dinner before he left home that day. Her worries drive her to visit more than 30 temples, seeking assistance from the mediums there. A month after they last set off for school, the pair are still missing. Desperate, the families offer a monetary reward for information leading to the boys' location. The initial reward is $1,000 each. A month later, on July 3rd, as their desperation intensifies, the sum is raised to $5,000 each. On July 17, 4 newspapers assist the police in handing out 30,000 leaflets with Chin An and Hong Huat's faces printed on them. Another 10,000 leaflets are distributed around police stations, police posts, and to offices. Some are put up at community centres, fast food outlets, and shopping centres. Members of the public call into a police hotline. A majority of the callers refuse to identify themselves, but they say they've spotted the boys in a variety of locations. Some have seen the boys as far off as Sentosa or St. John's Island. One caller says he saw them at the Singapore-Johor Express bus terminus, with 2 Chinese men in their 40s. But all the tip-offs lead to dead ends. Eventually, the police expand their search to Malaysia. On the 3rd of September at 11:30 p.m, Chin An's father, Kay Ching Pan, receives a call that leaves him pale and giddy, with his right hand and leg becoming weak. He does not remember what was said on the call, but the experience is evidently traumatic and he suffers a stroke the next day. Eerily, Hong Huat's mother, Tan Gyok Kwan, receives a similarly haunting call that same night, only half an hour after Cheng Pan. Speaking in Hokkien, the male caller tells her that she should not hope for her son's return. Anguished and desperate to find their children, the families increased the reward for information a second time. On September 22nd, more than 4 months after the boys disappeared, the reward was raised to $20,000. In October, fast food chain McDonald's announces an offer of $100,000 for information about Chin An and Hong Huat's whereabouts. The posters with the boys' faces and the police hotline number were also put up at 16 McDonald's restaurants. This unprecedented sum of reward money is how the case became associated with the fast food chain, and the missing children eventually gained notoriety as the McDonald's boys. In the years that follow, police cast their nets even wider, expanding their search to Indonesia and Thailand. 300 posters, sponsored by McDonald's, are translated into Bahasa Indonesia and are sent to Jakarta. Bangkok police are also provided with the boys' details and photographs. However, even with technological advances, there is little progress. On May 14, 1993, Kay Chin An and To Hong Huat are declared legally dead. The case remains unresolved till today. One theory behind the boys' disappearance is that Hong Huat's estranged father was responsible for abducting the two boys and bringing them to Johor Bahru. At the time of the incident, Hong Huat's parents were separated, but his father had persisted in seeing the boy against his mother's wishes. 4 days before Hong Huat and Chin An disappeared, Tan Gyok Hwan had a fright when she went to pick up Hong Huat from school, but she could not find him. He only turned up later in the evening, revealing that he had been with his father the whole time. Almost a decade after the boys disappeared, new information was uncovered that further supports this theory. Investigations revealed that Tan Gyok Hwan was not Hong Huat's biological mother. She had adopted Hong Huat as her own when her husband's mistress had refused to raise their illegitimate child, even going to the extent of forging Hong Huat's birth certificate. During investigations, the mistress told authorities of an unusual encounter that she had with her former lover a week before the boys disappeared. Hong Huat's father had contacted her to ask if she would take Hong Huat back, which she refused. He seemed to concede, but then warned her about keeping quiet, claiming that he would find his own way to take back his son. In 1996, Hong Huat's father was brought in for questioning. However, the police had to release him as there was insufficient evidence to support a charge against him or link him to his missing son. Another theory suggests that the boys were kidnapped by a child trafficking syndicate and smuggled into Thailand. There, they may have been dismembered and forced to beg on the streets for money. This theory was given further credence by rumours that some holidaying Singaporeans had seen the boys on the streets of Bangkok. However, nothing came of this lead. If the two of them are alive today, they would be 46 years old. As for Hong Huat and Chin An's families, the wait for answers is an infinite source of pain, yet a glimmer of hope.